Did he freeze?
And we are
Uh-oh.
live. Did somebody freeze?
Yeah, no. All of a sudden you went to a black screen. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Snews, the Snark Alec News. I am here with my co-host, Dylan. Say hi, Dill.
Hello. How are you? Having a good day. How are you
Um,
guys?
we got a whole bunch of guests here. We're going to get into the birthdays, and then we're going to talk nothing but SnarkStock2015. So go ahead with the birthdays, Dylan.
All right, we'll do this real quick because some cool shit happened at SnarkStock, so we're gonna go see that. So birthdays. The first one up is June 13th, which is the real Lydia O'Neill. So happy birthday to you. The next one, despite what Laura Norman wrote on the list I got, the next one is actually June 20th, and it's some loser by the name of Dylan. His birthday is June 20th, so happy birthday to that loser. Then we've got the lovely Terry Ivins. Her birthday is June 23rd, so happy birthday to Terry. And the even lovelier DH Gamer, Mike. His birthday is on June 27th. He was at SnarkStock, and we'll be talking a little bit about him probably too. Then we go into July. July, we've got Mr. Patrick Smith, the Clericon, celebrating on July 1st. Casey Wayland, July 3rd. Happy birthday to you, Casey. And then, wow, I didn't know we had somebody on July 4th. Jen Thulu, I guess writer Jen Thulu. Her birthday is on July 4th. Actor Greg Grunberg, who will be back on Heroes this fall. His birthday is July 11th, and Greer's is, I'm not Greer, Greer is July 12th. So that is the birthdays for this month. Back to you, Tony.
Oh, right. So, if you're not a Snark Alec or you've been living under a rock, for the past 6 months, there has been a lot of chatter about this thing called SnarkStock, which is basically just a group of us Snark Alecs getting together, and I guess being Snark Alecs is the only way you can describe it. So 3 of the people that attended that event are here, besides Dylan, because he was there, I was there. We've got the lovely sitting on a toilet bowl, Myrna.
Hello.
We've got Nicole Consweet Khan with her funky eyes.
Hello.
And last but not least, we've got Mr. Official Pagan Mikey B. Hey, Mike.
Hello, everyone. I noticed you didn't say I was lovely or had nice eyes or anything.
That's because everybody knows I favor you, Mike, and it's all been said already. So what more is there for
Tony?
me?
Wait, Tony, I don't know if you guys see his Twitter pics and stuff like that. Takes an unusual amount of pictures in my office bathroom. So I can see where the favoritism accusations would come in at.
Right, and most of the time, because whenever I'm in there, I look at the magazines, and they've got 17 magazines from like 4, 5, 6 years ago in Cosmopolitan in the men's room. So
he has to relax.
Because, you know, like when you go into the doctor's office, sometimes they have the magazines out, but the little place where the address goes, like they have it ripped off because maybe it went to the doctor's house or something like that. Nobody fesses up to owning these magazines. So.
I don't judge your bathroom reading material, Tony.
You've never seen my bathroom. Well, actually, my bathroom reading
Cosmo, okay?
Okay, my bathroom reading material is right here on my iPad, so that's it.
We like to keep it analog in the bathroom.
Yeah.
You know, I can't read in the bathroom. I just can't. I want to go in, go out, do my business, and I'm done.
Yeah, I can't read either. Now, selfies, I'm all about. But reading, no.
Well, it all depends when I'm in when I'm out in the field, as we say. Yeah, I'm not reading. I'm dropping a bomb and getting out. Because we are talking about sitting. We're not for guys. We're talking about sitting. Women always sit. But if I'm just going in there to do a stand-up routine, it's it's in and out. But when I'm at home, hey, sometimes you can put your feet up, smoke a cigar, have a couple of shots.
A cigar.
Yeah.
Well, it burns the stink out, so why not?
I'm
Yeah.
taking my coffee to the bathroom before.
That's because it helps you keep going to the bathroom.
That most people say that's what starts the whole thing going. But
See, I like to do shrooms first. It makes the whole thing an adventure.
hey, sometimes when I go out to eat, I just bring my appetizer with me to the bathroom, just so
Well,
I
you
can
put the
nobody eats
appetizer order in first, and you just tell them to deliver it there.
yeah, deliver it there because that way you can make room for the main course.
And there's actually, for those watching, there is reasons why we're talking about the bathroom, because the bathroom
Is there?
played a very important part in SnarkStock 2015.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, I've got a little bit of a creepy story, because it started at the beginning of the day.
Other than the 15 minutes we just did on bathrooms.
Well, there's going
it's
to
gonna
be
get
more
creepy.
bathroom talk because there was some people that were, I'm going to say, doing their business right out in the public in SnarkStock, because there was a toilet bowl, and it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
a lot of people took pictures sitting on the bowl, and there's a picture of Jay, Nicole's husband, and he's just kind of like, it looks like he's thinking, pondering the mysteries of the universe while he's sitting on this toilet bowl, and it is one of the better pictures only because of where it is, but there's pictures of several of
Nicole sitting in the toilet.
yeah. But so I have this camera, and it's a good camera, Samsung, and there's a couple of pictures of it, but this little black pouch was on my waist the whole day. Did anybody see me take out the camera?
No.
No.
The
In fact,
reason
you actually told me to take some pictures because
my camera wasn't working.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I was pushing this little button up here, which is the power button to turn it on. And, when you do that, the little lens pops out. From the time that we got to Honeybrew until I got home, anytime I pushed that button, nothing happened.
Did it have batteries?
Did not work. Did it have batteries? It's a rechargeable camera.
Oh.
It was charged when I left my house.
The ghost.
Okay? This happened at Honeybrew, though.
Oh.
It did not work at all. I tried the camera because I was getting ready to toss it. I pushed the button when I got home. It
You
opened
should have
up.
given it to me. I would have fixed it for you.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Right. Maybe, and this could be it. Like I said, it worked in my house because I took a picture in my house before I left. From then, I drove for 10 minutes and I picked up Myrna. The next time I tried to use the camera, Myrna was in the vicinity. Okay?
You're trying to say I broke
I
it.
tried to use the camera several times during the day. It would not work. It would not do what it's doing now.
Did you try your phone? I saw some interesting cell phone shots.
Well, I did use my phone a couple of times, but this has better resolution and it also does HD video.
Dylan actually shared a picture of his dildo collection with me.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's a
But
true
anyway.
story. That's
But
not
when
a joke.
I got home,
That happened.
when I got home after I dropped Myrna off at her car, I took the camera out when I was in my kitchen, pushed the button,
And that's how we
and
work.
it started working. Okay, and this was from Honeybrew, which is known, unless Honey Grow, Honeybrew, whatever the place is called, where we met. Unless that place is haunted, built on a graveyard, cemetery, or something. Okay.
Maybe
Either
I have
that
the ghost with me.
or the ghost followed me down from Lake George, but it did not work.
That's interesting.
So
The ghost is just looking for some romance, Tony. You've seen the end, right?
yeah, he see me naked then, or she see me naked. But so we all met up. I picked up Myrna, and I at a train station near my house. I picked up Myrna, and I picked up Shirley, Sesame Squirrel, and we drove down, and the pictures started to go from there. And right off the bat, Laura Norman started doing her little captioning jobs, which were bravo. Give the slow clap to Laura.
Yeah, she was
Yes.
on point.
Yes.
Why wasn't she at SnarkStock?
Because she lives in like Arkansas, Louisiana. You know, one of those places where she doesn't have a car; she's got a horse. 'Tis true. I'm not making that up.
She has a horse.
So
She should have driven her
buggy
horse.
ride.
Wait, I don't drive. I made it there.
But you live in a modern city.
And
Like
the city where it
Philadelphia.
took place.
Yes.
We can't not talk about Honey Grow without
You froze?
the absolutely insane woman who was, when we were hanging out outside, there was Honey Grow and then there was the pastry shop where Myrna forgot she got her food. And we had the crazy woman who was sitting there in the blue just jibber-jabbering away, probably wasn't wearing a bra, just
No bra.
jibber-jabbering, walking around.
Well,
I
Myrna
didn't
pointed
think
that
you
out.
noticed the bra thing, though.
Myrna pointed that out because obviously she thought it was nighttime because the headlights were on. That's the only
I
way
just want to say for the
describe that.
record, I was not a party to any of that.
That's true.
And then on top of that, what's funny is that there was that armored car was right there, and she was walking right towards it, and Tony was like, I bet she's going to rob it, isn't she?
Yeah. Well, either that or, like, I was just thinking she's going to get just a little bit too close, and they're just going to put, they're just going to drop two in her, and that's going to be...
I thought she was going to start talking to you. She was really crazy. She was like coming by us.
It is silly, so.
You shouldn't rush to judgment with people. We need to build the Snarkalic numbers up.
We don't need her.
She could have been a good addition. We don't know.
Yeah, we could use her at the jail.
Oh yeah, we could have put her in front.
I mean, all in all, a good little time was had by all, just hanging out, and then we carpooled, which was pretty smart, I guess.
Oh boy, we're lucky we survived.
Okay.
Thank you, Nicole.
So, I was in the lead car, and Dylan, and...
Hey, Amanda's here.
Hey, Mandy!
Amanda's here.
Hey!
Hi, Mandy. How
She
you
was
doing?
half asleep though.
I
You
usually
awake?
put. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I usually put on makeup before Dylan's show, but I just got another shower, so.
Well,
Oh, but look, you do look pretty.
Thank you.
Thank you. I've been getting compliments all day today. I think it's a new cream I'm using.
The
You
beauty.
just smell good.
So we were
Not
chatting
gonna lie,
about
I kind of wanted to, sneak a little hug in there.
She has no words.
So, Mandy, you were in the chase car. We're talking about the drive to Eastern State, and you were in the chase car. We were in the lead car.
We were the red light car.
Yeah. Well, we were blasting through red lights too, and you cut
And
through about
people-
4 or 5 intersections going that way. JFK Boulevard, right by the Art Museum down in Center City, Philly, and it was hysterical. And Nicole's like, I don't know, what do I do? And Jay's like, well, we're here. We can't stay here. Let's just keep on going. And I look back, and here comes Dylan, right behind us, and it's a good thing that happened at the beginning of the night. Yeah, it's a good thing it happened early in the night, early in
I
the
was
day.
breaking for Nicole. I was breaking for her.
Well, what it was is because Philadelphia roads are so messed up. I mean, the lanes in between the intersections were so small. I don't know if my minivan would have.
Right.
It might be sticking out there, and I really didn't know where I was going, so I didn't want to lose Nicole. So I was like, screw it, I'll just keep running that lights too and see what happens.
That was scary.
Oops.
Hands
I
to
really-
anybody. Go ahead.
I really hope that Philly doesn't have red light cameras.
They
Oh
do.
no.
They do. But the
We've got them everywhere here.
The secret to Philly's red light cameras is that they have to post a sign prior to the red light camera that says red lights are photo enforced. So if you see one of those, the next light you get to is going to have a camera. Um, and I don't think there's any down there in Center City. I know Roosevelt Boulevard, Route 1, north from that point is just dirty with them. But I'm not sure where else they have them in Philly. I know definitely on Route 1, but we didn't go near there.
Yeah, I'm sure it's okay. Well, I haven't checked my mail in a while, so we'll see.
I'm sure it's fine.
It wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, it sucks when you get one of those. Well, you know what you do. You just send them a picture of a check. You know, they send you a picture of your car.
I would just
But
like
Nicole
to
had a
know,
borrowed car.
I would just like to note it would be the first time I ever got one of those.
Really?
Really?
Oh, yeah, I got a lot of.
I've never got a traffic violation.
No, it's
Not-
just it just blows my
I don't.
mind.
I don't believe that. I flat
swear
out
to
don't
you.
believe that.
Sweaty. That's what tears are for, guys.
There is no way that's true.
It's true. Ask Jay. I swear to you.
I try that too whenever we get pulled over. I try to let the big no eyes. I let a couple buttons go. Nothing.
I've never gotten a speeding one.
Okay, I've been corrected by Laura. She lives in Mississippi, and she does have a car. So,
See, no excuse. No excuse.
She should have been here. She could go to the next one.
yeah. Actually, what she's got to do is get her own plane, and then she can fly up from Mississippi.
She could
I'm
travel on a
right near an
BlackBerry.
airport.
Yes.
You'll pick her up? I'm near
Why
an
not
airport,
drive?
too.
You could walk from the airport to my place.
Oh, no, not that near.
You can walk, but, I mean, it's a walk, Mike. From Northeast?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a walk. It's not a bad walk. You wouldn't want to do it today.
I wouldn't want to do it any day, but I mean, it's physically possible to do it. That was the point.
And since Mike doesn't drive, when he says pick up, he's actually talking about a piggyback. He's not talking about.
I wasn't picking anybody up. I said she could walk to my house. It's one really scary, desolate road
Right.
from the airport to my house.
I think we drove past it.
It would be great though if you did it while carrying the Kelly.
Oh, yeah.
Would you like to come home with me and Kelly Toole?
See, the problem
Mikey,
with that is
that-
once people saw us together like that, guys would just be stopping and honking nonstop.
Yeah.
We'd never
Well,
make it home.
Let's hold off on the Kelly talk because that's after we get into the prison. But here goes
Alright, my bad.
my big
Every
my
good
big
Kelly
moment.
story starts that way.
Yeah.
After
Sure.
Kelly and I were in prison.
Yeah. And now it is true. Mike and Kelly were in prison together. We didn't think about the communication piece like for the day because the way the day was set up, we were supposed to be able to, go to the prison. We bookended the day with the prison and eulogy bar, and then we were going to make up the day as we went along, depending on the weather with the stuff in the middle, which was a good idea. But the problem was, and I didn't realize it until later on, and then after I got home, that there was a lot of people tweeting at me that were in our group about stuff, but I was driving. So, we should have figured out that piece. We should have had, figured out who was driving with who and made somebody in charge of, hey, well, Tony's not going to be tweeting while he's driving. So,
I was showing you the tweets. I would be like, hey, Tony. He'll be like, I'm driving. Hey, Tony.
Show me the tweet. Like, oh, look at this one. It's so funny. Myrna, I'm driving. And we do know that Myrna can read. At least she pulls it off.
But she likes the pictures better anyway.
Yeah. They're easy. But that's if anything that we could have done better would have been the communication part because everything else seemed to go smoother or smoothly except for the part where thought everybody was heading back to the parking lot, turn around and where's Mike and his dad? Couldn't find him.
Vanished.
Vanished. And then
that did happen.
I mean, when I'm in Fairmount, I'm there to get heroin.
Eh?
So, I mean, we had other stuff that we did, and that was fun. I was like, it'd be a lot more fun on heroin. The only weird part was that my dad was there.
And he was on a first name basis with the.
And he would just go like this.
He's been doing that for 33 years.
But the funny thing is, the one thing I did learn on SnarkStock was Mike's actually the good one in his family. His sister is the bad one.
Well, I mean, that's
How
something
sad
I
is that? When my dad looks at me and he's like, this one over here with the 3-foot-long beard and tattoos on his hand, that's my success story.
Oh, he's so funny.
Looks can be deceiving,
Yeah,
Mike.
yeah, that was
That's
funny.
cute.
So we got to Eastern State, and they decided to throw a block party in our honor. So.
Yes, they did.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, they, along with us, kind of got screwed by the rain because when it came down, they just packed up and left. But so we did finagle to get in there a little bit, and this is the part that Mandy didn't know about. I had already gone in and talked to the people, and I said, okay, we're going to be a little bit late. Is that a problem? And I wanted Myrna to get out of her shell and just walk in there with the money, and she refused to do it. Okay, Myrna has been given jobs this whole thing, and to get her to follow through on the tasks that she's been given has been like worse than having a root canal. I had already been in there and I spoke to the people, and I had no problem with basically what we did was, if you counted Kelly, we had 15 people. Okay, so
And Kelly does count.
and Kelly does count. And
Yeah,
the
yeah.
reason that 15 is important is to get the group rate, which was $11 as opposed to 15. You had to have 15 people. Okay, we didn't have 15 people; we had 14. But we came up with a dollar or two extra per person, and we gave them enough money for 15 people, and only 14 of us went in, plus Kelly.
Plus
which
Kelly.
15.
Kelly went in.
And Judith, so even if you count them each as half.
Yeah. Well, Judith,
Judith
the
didn't-
16th person would have been free anyway. The 16th person in
That's
the group
true.
is free. So our plan was, because it looked like we were going to have 18 people, we were going to collect 18 people's worth of admission, and we were going to hold $11 and put that towards the tab. And we ended up putting we had a couple of dollars left over
For the tab.
to put towards the tab at the end of the night.
Because it was unfortunate that the McGivnas couldn't make it. They were on their way, and Helena got taken ill in Cleveland, like most people do when they go to Cleveland.
It's true.
Had to-
If they
had to
stopped
head
at the
back.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, that made me sick.
Well, actually, you know what I think, and I'm being quite honest. They got to Cleveland, and they got a good deal on some playoff NBA tickets. So I think
And
they
they
stuck
turned back.
around Cleveland to watch. No, they just stayed there. They stayed there to watch basketball. That's what I'm thinking.
Because that sounds better than Eastern State Penitentiary.
Well,
Did you see that picture that Nicole put with the money?
the one where it looks like
Recounting
you
the
were
money, and
doing
Jay
a
is like this, cracking up.
It looks like you were doing a drug deal. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That was so funny.
You were in
There's
the right spot.
500. There's
I took the money.
500
I took the
pictures.
money away from you, Myrna.
I know. There's another one that you're watching, me and Tony, and Tony's like, that was so funny. Yeah, Jay was doing
All
a
she
drug
had
deal.
to do was take the money inside, and she would have won. She would have won one, and I would have been, Myrna, I'm so proud of you. And then Mandy was looking at me like, she's like, you're supposed to be in charge. I'm like, no, like, you don't understand. I'm like, I don't want to say anything in front of Myrna, but I'm like, no, Myrna's got to friggin' woman up and get in there and say, here's the money, bitch. Let us in. And she failed.
Why did she have to get abusive with them?
Because that's the way New Yorkers are.
Myrna, that's not cool.
I'm
Yeah, that's
ruined.
very
You need to get your anger under control, Myrna.
I've been living in the country.
I did miss not being able to meet Helena and John though.
I know I missed them too.
That would have been a good photo with my side piece.
Well, see, what I wanted was a picture of Mike, Helena, and Jen. So Mike would have had his piece and his side piece, and
I'm pretty sure.
And if he would have had the Kelly picture, he would have had all his girls with him.
Oh,
Nice.
We would have gotten a good picture. We could have elected a pope together.
Yes. So,
next time.
so did everybody like the prison, though? I mean, for the most part, it seemed like everybody had a good time in the prison. Mandy looked
Prison
like,
was great. I
Okay.
I got a water bottle.
Yeah, she did.
but the
I
one
got
thing
soda.
the interesting thing was I went up and like they had a big sign out front that said today is prison food day. So I walked back to everybody and I said it's prison food day. And then when we walked in, they had some tables set up and there's pictures of this and we were all tweeting about
Oh my
it.
God,
and we
that food
talked
was
about
terrible.
the Nutriloaf, which was phenomenally bad.
The only person who wasn't eating the pretzels was Dylan because he filled up on all the prison food. Everybody else tasted it. Dylan ate it.
It was horrible,
That's what I was
horrible.
supposed to do. It
I'm
was
not going to
terrible.
say the Nutriloaf was good, but I've had way worse stuff in my mouth.
Okay. And we're not going to follow that up with a follow-up question, but I mean, in my opinion, California was not bad.
What, that was the rice?
No, I think well, actually, to me, it tasted a little bit like corned beef hash, the California one. But I think
Oh, that one,
hands down, everybody hated Vermont. I think it was the Vermont one.
Which one was Vermont?
I think it was the one that was darker.
I didn't eat completely. I took one bite and I said, you know what? I'm going to throw this out.
None of it was paleo.
Yeah.
In fact, I have Nicole, I have all the recipes.
So do
I
I.
was supposed to give it to you.
Yes.
But the deal with the Nutriloaf and you could read about it online is that it's used as a disciplinary thing. So if somebody is misbehaving, they take them off regular prison food, which would be like a ham sandwich and like some kind of juice, to this stuff, which is basically like a meatloaf without the meat. And the whole idea behind it is not that it tastes bad, but that it tastes like nothing in some cases. And all of these things, every one of them had a taste. And it wasn't good.
I didn't like any of them.
Yeah, and Mandy's face. Nicole, I mean, go to the drive-in. I'll pop a link out. But if you go to the public link that we have been tweeting out, it is pretty interesting how Nicole. What? What, Myrna? You haven't seen it?
No.
Okay, so
I mean,
do you
I
have
haven't
Twitter?
seen a link.
A link, yes. You haven't
Yeah, Twitter.
seen me
I have
tweet
Twitter.
a link on Twitter. You haven't seen me like there was photos that got uploaded, and then someone else uploaded photos, and there's 500 pictures there, and it's a link that anybody can use to view any of the photos. You haven't seen me tweet that link at least 7 or 8 times.
No.
I haven't either.
Well, you see, for you people, I wasn't tweeting the link at you people because you people can actually look in that folder whenever you want because it's shared with you.
I like that he calls them you people.
You people, you Snark Alex, you guys.
Underlings.
Thanks, Mike. So I just put it in the chat window. I put it in the chat window, but you don't need it because guess what? It's shared with me, Myrna. Remember that shared with me thing? So if it's
I had a horror
shared
trying to
with
post pictures.
shared with me. That's all you have to remember is shared with me. And basically, what shared with me means is that it's shared with you.
Okay.
But did you share it with Myrna?
I did.
That's the thing.
I don't say I didn't, because she did post a video and she posted a couple of pictures, and I was like, Myrna, I don't have time to do.
The video was an accident. I didn't know what I was doing.
Myrna, this is standard operating procedure.
But I had to do one by one. The video was Mike coming out of the bathroom.
Because everybody, it's an event. Whenever Mike, as we were talking about this before, it's always an event when Mike goes to the bathroom for some reason.
True.
There's a picture of
Not gonna
you
lie,
at the porta
I'm
potty.
trying not to get a big head about it, but it's a fact.
There's a great picture of Myrna coming out of the porta potty, making a
Oh my!
lovely face. Yeah,
That
that's the
face
one.
was horrible.
It's similar to the
Not to
thing.
get off of bathroom humor for a second, but did you guys think that the Nutriloaf was like cruel and unusual punishment?
Yes.
Oh my
Yeah.
God,
I did
yeah.
not. I did not.
Oh God.
No.
It may
Really?
be unusual, but not cruel.
Ugh.
Oh, no.
There's
I
a
really
picture
didn't
that-
think it was too far.
I
Whether
guess if
you
they
posted a
deserved it, I
picture.
suppose.
That's because I think it was stuff that went through. So in the showcase, the photos are kind of like streaming through.
Let me see the pictures.
So who's taking it to work? Who's making it to take to work?
I'm gonna make it for my kids.
Come on, for someone's
Oh
birthday.
damn it! My daughter needed a snack tomorrow. I should have made it.
See? Perfect. Perfect.
But yeah, no, I didn't.
How many kids do you have, Myrna? Like, do you know how to reproportion the
Oh.
recipes?
Only 2, but the classroom, I don't know how many there are in there.
Is it?
I would've said it.
Are they nut free, soy free? Because we can't send any of that to
that's true.
school.
They do have nut allergies, yes. So. They didn't have any nuts on this. They were too cheap on that one. These people were starving.
No, there was beans.
See, I couldn't take it into work because if you're super high, anything tastes good. So
So you go super high to work.
I'm not gonna say I don't. Tony knows.
I'm gonna plead the fifth, but so what was your favorite part of the prison?
Whose?
Anyone? Nicole froze.
Just tasting all that nasty stuff.
Okay.
Steve
Yeah,
Buscemi.
that Steve Buscemi was the narrator for our audio tour. So you see us, the pictures of us with our headphones on. We're actually listening to Steve Buscemi's narration.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah,
I
that was great.
That was nice.
Would you like, Tony?
You know what? They should have fixed that prison. Seriously.
There was a whole thing about how they were keeping it as an active, ruined building, something. They want it to be falling apart.
Well, there
Okay.
are a couple of sections that you can't get in because the actual, like you could see from outside, like the stuff on the roof is falling in. So they've got to do something about that because you don't want that to happen. But
Well, we saw some leaking when it rained while we were there.
oh yeah, and it came down.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Thanks, Obama.
Yeah, really. To tell you the truth, I mean, when we first walked in, and the first corridor we went down, that was kind of almost as much unchanged from the original building as possible. And because they had those big, heavy wooden doors, and like I was thinking about it. Originally, when they opened that place, it was one person per cell, and it could make you go nuts because you were by yourself. But those cells were pretty nice sized. When we went down into some of the other blocks, the cells looked like they were a little bit smaller, and they were putting 2 beds in there. But they still had that little area, even though it was small. But it was a place outside that they could go. A wall.
They were only let
windows.
out. They were only out there for like 30 minutes a day. I thought the whole psychology behind whether or not it's better to have whether or not people go crazy in isolation was really interesting.
Yeah. Well, from what I read, the whole Quaker philosophy behind that prison was that they had that window at the top that they called the Eye of God, which was, the skylight,
Yeah.
where
Yeah, that was
they
nice.
were awesome, and all they needed was, like a nice shower in there and stuff. But for the most part, they were supposed to go in there and they were supposed to, evaluate themselves and come to terms with what they were in there for. And the funny thing is, back then, the biggest crime that you could commit wasn't murder, but was stealing somebody's horse. And if you were in there for horse thievery, that was worse than being in there for murder.
That's sad. We
Hey,
need to the
listen.
bathrooms.
Oh, I'm being paged. I'll be back.
Okay. So, but
Was the room? Did you people go to the room with the TV where they were giving the guys with the butts?
we'll get to the TV room because I've got questions about that.
Oh, okay.
You have questions about guys' butts?
No. No, not at all.
Oh,
I've got one, so
I got super excited for a second.
I've got first-hand experience.
Keep fooling around with that.
He said first-hand experience.
Anyway,
What was that?
it sounded like Myrna flushed.
My potty's very comfortable.
You got one of those cushion seats with the fur on it?
Oh yeah. Warming seats.
That's awesome. Dylan, what was your
I don't know, actually. I mean, I kind of liked the whole thing in general. I know that sounds like a lame answer, but it was just kind of neat to see, because I'm a history major. I majored in history, so seeing and actually being in a historical landmark type of place is always pretty cool to me, and just seeing all the different things they've done with it. I mean, pretty cool seeing that they're allowing artists to go in there and do stuff in the cells. Like, I mean, one person literally built a car inside one of the jail cells, and then the other one that you and I saw, Tony, of the album covers in some weird design on the inside. That was kind of neat. And of course, it was an added bonus, even though everybody hated it, but it was still something interesting to find out about the prison food day. Because it's something, a special event that doesn't always happen all the time, and to see how things actually were in the past. Now, real quick, I wanted to, the Eastern State's supposed to purport to be very haunted, but to me it didn't seem that way, really. And I don't know if any of you guys had any kind of weird experience like that, but the only thing that came close to me, was we had the headphones that Steve Buscemi was talking through, and it was chapters. So it's okay, stop, you get to chapter 7, and chapter 7, stop, and if next one you hit chapter 8, and so on and so forth. But where we were going, where chapter 7 supposedly ended, was right where the hallway was for the prison food stuff, and there was no tour stuff there. So we said, hey, why don't we check this out? The minute I crossed from that room to the room that wasn't actually part of the actual tour, my thing started making loud, weird, strange noise as soon as I stepped into that corridor. And at that, I made a little joke. It's like, there's a ghost or whatever. But then one of the people who was working there was like, oh, I can fix that. So they came over, pressed a few buttons, and it was fine. So that's why I chalked it up more for it was just a mechanical problem. But it was just odd that I had no problems up to that point, and then the minute that we leave the actual tour area to go do this other thing, I have a problem, and then we come back and there's no problem. So that's what I found interesting. But in general, I liked the whole thing. I liked seeing the history. I liked seeing Al Capone's jail cell. I liked going out into the open yard and seeing some of the tall buildings of Philly surrounding it. Was kind of interesting. But that's just my stuff.
Mandy, I muted you. Mandy, I muted you. You have to unmute yourself. If you put your cursor up to the top, there you go. Okay.
Guys, I gotta go. Can I just say Baltimore, November before I leave?
Okay, you can say it.
Baltimore, November. Have a good night, guys.
Good night, man.
I hope she feels better, Mandy. Okay, so she had to go.
Oh, poor Scarlett.
And that was the pink-haired floozy, and we'll get to the reason that she's the pink-haired floozy maybe by the end of this. Oh, wow, it's already 9:41, and we're still in Eastern State. Yeah, the one other place that I liked was that center area, but, I mean, go into the drive. I tweeted out the link and look at the pictures of the architecture. Cole took some great pictures. Everybody's got some great pictures, but I also did like the that center area. But when they had the two-story area that we could go to and look, like it, I was just so amazed that part of that building was built in 1820, and it was still in pretty darn good shape. And I did mention when we were there, this is where I'm going when the zombies come, because no zombies taking that down. I mean, you might have to worry about a governor, but no zombies are getting in there unless they're like World War Z zombies, and then basically we're all screwed. So it doesn't make a difference where you go. You got to be in a submarine to get away from those guys.
But they have windows in there. You
Where?
won't be safe in the
submarine?
prison. No, in the prison.
I said World War Z. No, World War Z zombies.
Oh.
We're going to get in because they just climb up the outside of the wall. They go on each other's back. They'll get you.
They follow the music.
Yeah, that's what I got out of that movie. Every rock band in the country was the first ones to go because anybody playing live music was zombies. Mike? Did you take your favorite part of the prison besides the showers?
Mike is somewhere else.
The showers and the butts
The
were fun.
showers. Where were the showers? Oh.
But so I had been to the prison before, but it was during Halloween, and it was for a special event, so it wasn't even the regular Halloween tour. So that was the first time I had done a legitimate tour of it. So it was really interesting. I mean, I already knew a lot about the prison, but it was fun to go through, and the audio tour was very thorough, and I really enjoyed it. Every part of it was good. It was great to spend it with Kelly, and to really feel him up against me. And when he got cold or scared, he just pushed closer.
Yeah. Well, we could talk about Kelly now because
that's funny.
But before you got there, I was like, Mike is going to show up with, and I did not know this was going to happen, but I was like, Mike's going to be here, and he's going to have like Kelly's head on a popsicle stick or some kind of crap. And
yep, you said it. Yep.
All day long, Mike had a bag, and he had a shirt on a hanger, and he had a Kelly head. And was that mounted on a piece of cardboard, or was it just a piece of paper?
It was mounted on a piece of cardboard.
Okay. And he walked around with this all day long. So in almost every picture of Mike, you see him standing there with a Kelly head right in front of him.
I know, that's so funny.
And it was so funny just seeing. I'm sorry, Tony. I'll let you finish. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was watching people looking at Mike saying, what the fuck is his problem?
There were people doing that, but then there was one woman, when I was looking in Al Capone's cell, there was a woman in front of me who was waiting in line as well, and she turned and saw Mike and Kelly, and she's like, oh, look, to her husband or whatever, oh, look, there's a guy with the face on in the shirt, and she turned around and started taking pictures of it. Like, oh, yeah, that's kind of cool, click, 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 and then you were taking, you had other people coming up to you, or you were asking them to have
came
pictures
up to me and asked if they could get pictures with Kelly. So...
Kelly's famous.
Kelly's well known.
There's the guy with the head. Like, I'm at my own tourist attraction there.
So, Nicole, your favorite part of the prison?
Was the food.
It was the food.
I have to be honest, I didn't listen to any of that historical stuff. I don't really care about it. I just like to look and make my own stories up.
Yeah, I don't listen very well.
Yeah.
It's true because you and Jay both didn't have the headphones on, so that was kind of interesting.
Because, they look nerdy and... and
that explains. That explains why you were so hyper.
And I just do what I want to do.
Yeah, I mean, the headphones were good in one respect because in some cases, whatever Steve Buscemi was saying in your ear was exactly what was written down on the cards. But then there was a couple of cards where they'd have the first couple of lines, and there'd be a little bit more, not much more, but a little bit more. And when at one point we went out to put more money in the meters where the car were parked, and we had to give up our headsets when we went out. When we came back in, I didn't put the headset back on, only because I felt like I had a better time getting the feel of the place, if that's the best way to say it. Just walking around and reading it, and it just felt like, I don't want to say weird. It just felt like different. Walking around, I almost felt like because it was a prison, and I don't know why, but like you had to show the place some kind of respect. And I think without the headphones, I think I was showing respect. It was just weird. I mean, maybe that was the spirits getting to me. I don't.
I agree. I think it was creepy cool, and it just has its own feel, and
I just wish they would have put the groups more isolated. Like we were surrounded by so many strangers.
Well,
makes it creepier if it's just us, and then maybe the others will be in the back.
Well, I don't know if anybody else noticed it, but when we first got there weren't that many people in the prison. But by the time we left, the place was jammed. So I think maybe people go there, but for some reason people just went there a little bit later on a Saturday. I don't know, or maybe people were trying to get there as late as possible and stretch it out. You could literally spend an entire day there if you want to stop in front of every spot and read everything there is to read on those cards.
If you're a real nerd.
It doesn't have to be a real nerd, but I mean,
come on.
Being Al Capone's cell has nothing to do with being a nerd. Seeing the escape tunnel has nothing to do with being a nerd.
That was tiny.
Yeah, and I was like, no freaking way. And then when you actually read the thing, and you found out what they filled that tunnel up with. Did you read that, Myrna?
M. Night Shyamalan.
No.
His excrement, yes.
Ew.
Do you know what they fill that tunnel up with?
I didn't know. I just saw the tunnel, read the man got caught.
They filled it up with the output of the prison's incinerator, which may or may not have included some bodies that were cremated.
Gross.
Yeah.
Well, which actually makes it someplace where dead people's ashes are buried, which makes it a friggin' a spirit's playground. And then if you did any kind of reading about what used to happen there early on when it first opened up, where they used to have this one thing that they used to do, like if you didn't listen to the guards, they put this thing on your tongue, and then they connect it to your hands, and you'd end up ripping your own tongue out with this thing and bleeding to death. Yeah, so some nasty stuff happened. But
well, speaking of that, why don't they lock you in a cell and you get to pretend like you're in prison?
Oh hell no! I would have been close. They would have had to take me to a hospital after that.
Like they do when you go to Busch Gardens and you put your head in that little thing.
Stop.
I was gonna say, wait, you went to Busch Gardens and they locked you in a cell?
in the other one, the St. Augustine one in Florida, that one you could go in the cell. And you could lock your door.
And
sit at the bed. You could sit at the bed and everything in the St. Augustine one.
Alcatraz, they let you. They can close the door on you also, but maybe it's just because it is as
you might get stuck.
It might get, or because it is part of as I think Mandy mentioned that it's supposed to be that way, and it's not solid foundation anymore. They're not going to try to do that, and they don't want anything to happen. Whereas Alcatraz is more kept up as more of a historical landmark, so they keep it upkeep.
I guess that's the same thing with the St. Augustine jail.
Yeah,
they keep it up. It's nice.
Yeah, no, we enjoy our ruin porn here in Philly.
Yeah. But again, the big difference is, I mean, these doors when they closed, and up until the time that place was shut down in 1970 or 71, they still use those type of doors. So, like in a normal prison, you could kind of like look across and you can talk to the people across from you until it's lights out. Then you're not supposed to do anything. But in
Knows
this
a lot
place,
about prison.
Hey, come on, Mike.
They really would have been haunted. We would have had ghosts in our pictures. Because when I went to the ghost tour in Florida by St. Augustine, I actually caught a ghost in my pictures. And I showed it to the tour lady. She was like, oh, everybody was like so shocked. I got a ghost, I got a ghost.
Well, maybe they were all afraid of the prison food. They want to come out and be seen.
They weren't coming out.
How come we haven't seen this picture, Myrna?
It was in Florida.
Oh,
yeah,
okay. So it was in Florida, so you can't show the picture in any place else.
Oh my God, I don't even know where the picture is.
It's like I have a Bigfoot picture that I took in California, but I'm not going to show it to you because it was in California.
It was in California.
I was in California, and I have a high-definition video of Bigfoot flying a UFO. But for some reason, I can't show it anyplace else.
I don't even know where it is.
Now, did you guys think the cells were overly small, or is that what you expected the size to be?
I thought they were pretty big.
I thought they were good size.
Yeah, well, it was one bed, right? Most of them were one bed.
If you remember when we first walked in, okay, that place that we first walked through was one of the original corridors, okay, and they had some of those set up where they just had the frame of a bed just to give you an idea.
I took a picture of that, yeah.
Okay, later on they put 2 beds in those rooms, and then when you went to the newer part of the prison where they had the 2-tier, it seemed like maybe the cells were a little bit smaller and they had 2 beds in them. But, I mean, if you were 2 people, there was still a good amount of room. I mean, you could be on your side, I could be on my side, or I could be standing up and I could spin around with my arms like that, not hit the walls and not hit each other. So I thought that they were pretty big.
I like the doors. All their doors.
I like the doors too. I like Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd.
The one in the upstairs, the hallway was like really creepy because it was so thin.
Yeah, they weren't allowed to let us up there. That would have been kind of neat.
Are you talking about the 2-tiered cell?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that would have been nice. Yeah, but we probably would have fallen off the balcony. Ah!
So, are we going to move out of Eastern State into...
Yeah, because I think there's a lot of other stuff. Oh, unless you had something else to say, Nicole?
What about the dog? You guys didn't talk about the dog.
Oh, the dog. I think the dog is kind of famous. And we definitely, I think we had at least one picture of the dog. And the story was apparently the governor's dog may have been hungry one night and may have eaten a cat, his wife's cat. And, yeah, great dog, but he had to go to prison for it. And,
that's that dog.
While I'm not saying the dog should have been rewarded for eating the cat,
hey!
I feel like a literal prison sentence for a dog is just a little bit far.
Too much.
I agree. Did he have to eat that stuff too?
I don't think.
Poor doggy. He probably ate the one with the corned beef or whatever the heck that is, devil's ham.
I think he may have eaten he may have had the dog version of that, but hey, he got to eat the cat, so.
That's sad. He
There's
was
a plus
hungry.
there. Um, yeah, there's a I mean that place is just amazing. From start to finish, I love old buildings and I love
Me too.
history. And one thing that the whole city is filled with is there's a lot of history. And when we were in um, Eulogy, that was down in Old City, so um, you can't get much older. I mean, that's the oldest section of the city, um, and that was a great pick.
What was eulogy?
Nicole,
Oh, the restaurant.
Eulogy Bar, yes, where we
I
ate.
even remember the name.
that was an
I thought it was called a coffin.
awesome. So we had
Now that one was haunted.
okay. So we had an interesting drive down to the Eulogy Bar, and I don't know why it's called the Eulogy Bar. I don't know how it got its name. However, where we were in a little room upstairs, and all of the tables were made out of coffins, but not modern day coffins. They were coffins from back in
Oh,
like the
coffins.
1800s, and but they had glass tops. And I told Myrna, I was like, hey, this is a coffin. And she's like, oh, no, it's not. And then, both sides of the table had those rails that kind of
Oh yeah, then I saw it.
zook
Mine
out.
had a skull on it. My
Yeah.
side.
And I was sitting at a smaller table with Mandy, and then there was a smaller table where actually it was bigger than the table we were at, but Nicole and Heather and Mike and Jay were sitting at a separate table. And instead of having the actual rail, there was just those burlap ropes. And I don't know what those were, so I just said maybe they were for babies or baby-sized, or I
That's
just
actually the
couldn't.
only thing I didn't like. I would have preferred everyone to be in the same table. Because there were people I couldn't even talk to. Someone all the way over there. I was like yelling, "Hey, Don!" I couldn't like
Well,
it.
Myrna, the room was small enough that you could
I
get up,
know,
It was.
Yeah,
which is what most of us did.
we had everybody go to the
yeah.
bathroom too.
Well, that's how we announced my candidacy for mayor. As
Yeah, that
on
was fun.
the Snark Alec party line. Um, so there's one bathroom, and they had to come through the room, and it was a non-gender specific bathroom.
Yeah, that was funny.
So anybody could use it. And but the guy's name was John, right?
I thought it
John.
was
Yeah,
Sean. I thought
John,
it was
wasn't
Sean.
it John?
John.
John. Everybody called
Yeah.
him John. So
Yeah.
It was John or Sean?
It was
Yeah, I think it
John.
was Sean. Yeah.
No,
Whatever.
it was John. Oops.
It was.
I thought it was John.
I thought it was John.
Sean.
Because I swear when I tweet, I said John.
Thanks
Yeah,
for
well, I
that.
think Sean is the Irish version of John.
Oh, John.
Um,
Oh, if it isn't, we gave.
well, I announced my candidacy for mayor, and I got his vote, especially since I introduced Mike as my vice mayor, and he was going to be in charge of all vice, like prostitution and drugs and stuff like that. He was quite impressed with
with that.
my credentials, and plus I was planning ahead, having a vice mayor. It seems like the candidates that they have right now aren't planning for those types of things. Like they want to do stuff like fix the schools and stuff. Like who wants to do that?
No, you should definitely focus on prostitution, medical marijuana.
Yeah. Make all that crap legal, and then we can lower
Right.
taxes.
And expanding bars.
Yeah, medical alcohol, medical coke.
Medical
As long as you say
peyote.
medical in front of it, it's fine.
All the money, all the taxes go to expanding every bar in Philly.
No, you don't expand the bars. No, you don't expand the bars. You don't use
And
tax
buy more
money.
liquor.
No, use the tax money to get guys jobs driving cars, waiting outside the bars where the drunk people come out,
Oh
drive
yeah,
them home.
that's true.
Okay,
That's
that's
a
my
good idea.
platform. Because hey, if we're gonna have this vice tax money, we need to have a safe way for people to get home. Okay, and
Okay.
the cost of having guys drive these people home is going to not exceed the amount of tax revenue we get from having
The drunk.
people go to see their hookers and have their drugs in their drink.
You know you're gonna have a bigger medical plan. All those-
Well, yeah,
See,
you
in
have
all
medical.
this time, though, I've had the hookers and drugs without the ability to give back to the community. And now Tony's brought all that together.
Right, and now we're legalizing all of that stuff, so we're making it safer for the ladies who are doing those types of jobs, and we're cutting out the gangs, so there'll be less gang violence and stuff.
But
You know,
are you legalizing dogs eating cats? That's what we really
actually, dogs will have to go to cat eating school,
Oh.
so we will train dogs on how to do that properly. Because we
Okay.
don't want them to only eat half the cat. They have
I
to.
think the dog had an attorney.
Oh yeah, I wonder.
I don't think he had a chance. I don't even think he had a trial. To tell you the truth,
Poor
I know he
dog.
was issued a number.
Another miscarriage of justice.
So, Myrna made a cake, and unfortunately, that cake had some really awesome icing and some awesome decorations, but it was like 88 degrees, and it was sitting in the back of my car and then the minivan all day.
Poor
So
thing.
it kind of oozed, but the cake was very good. The cake
It
was very
was.
good. So we sang happy
I
birthday.
have to say it was Tony's idea. He wanted to celebrate a birthday.
Um,
And then I told him there was 3 people.
You put 3 names on the cake: Mike, Dylan, and Mike. It's no big deal.
Could have saved time and just put Mike and then a 2 next to it.
Mike to the second power.
Yeah, or it could have just been initials like MDM. Like what is that for?
I like the names. It
So
was fun. You had fun.
We had a $600
Damn. That was Mandy's fault.
bar tab after eulogy, and it was awesome. I mean,
That was fun.
I don't think anybody complained about the food.
No, my food was good.
Nobody really complained about the beer or the drinks or the
my
room. It was
Well, I don't like
we
beer.
had so much fun.
And the great thing was because of the rain we'd got at Eastern State, the rest of our day was kind of screwy. So we decided to check in early at Eulogy, and they gladly let us in there. So we were in there from I was 4 or 5 o'clock to
5
10.
o'clock
Yeah, we
till-
were there 9ish.
Yeah, we
10,
had a long time. Wow.
We were there for
5
4 to 5 hours. Yeah.
If 5 to 9 we were in there at least. We weren't supposed to get there until 6, and we got held up at the prison a little bit because of the rain. And by the time we got out of there wasn't enough time for us to do anything else except go to eulogy. I mean, we could have walked around in that neighborhood a little bit, but we figured we'd stop in there first and see if they could let us in, and they did, and that was great. And then Jerry joined us, Jerry Fletcher. She wasn't with us for the Eastern State part, and she got down there for just about 6 o'clock. So,
That was fun.
but that
too.
was great.
And then on
That
top of that, for those who don't know, the Eulogy Bar is like a Belgian style type of place. It's got 5 pages of beer and 2 pages of food. But the food was excellent. It was but the beer I
Right.
saw the beer was from $3.99 to $50. You could get and they had every single beer you could probably imagine there. So Mandy was in her element, being the beer lady she was. So she was throwing things out there and saying, hey, you should get that, and trying this. And I think she bought 9 beers or something, but she shared them. Yeah.
Yeah. I had a sip or two of
You
the
had a
stuff.
terrible beer.
Did anyone try anything they really liked? I tried a strawberry beer that AJ had, and I never had that before.
Well, I hate beer, so thanks to AJ, I was able to drink it.
I really liked it, the strawberry.
I
one.
loved it. I love that one. The second one. Remember, the first one was the skinny one
Yeah.
that you told. He let me taste too.
Yeah.
And then the other one was the best.
I was never really a beer drinker, but the one I had was something Dirty Bastard. It was a Scottish ale. It actually wasn't too bad. It was pretty good. And actually, Mike, Mike had the fish dog milk stout or whatever that was. What was that, Mike?
Duck rabbit milk stout.
And I'm
Duck
usually
rabbit.
I'm
Duck,
usually
duck,
not a
goose.
big fan of the darker, thicker beers, but his actually wasn't too bad. You let me take a sip of it.
I like the fruity stuff. What was
Me
the name of the
too.
one I liked?
I don't know the strawberry one.
It was so good.
I don't know what
It
it
was
was.
straw beer, B-I-E-R.
Strawberry.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, I had 2 beers, but then I tasted 3 or 4 of the ones that
Oh,
Mandy
Maggie,
picked,
yeah. Oh,
and I pretty much liked them all except there was one that almost tasted like champagne, which I mean, I drank it, but I didn't like. I wouldn't have had it again, but I don't remember the names of.
but there was one that she ordered that was
The one
some
that we all
hops wine.
passed around.
Hops wine. She said it had hops or something. It was a wine, she said.
Oh.
It was horrible.
Not
It was
that
like medicine.
The barley one was the absolute worst.
Or was it barley?
Yeah, I
Well,
think
they're
that
not
might have
the
been the
thing.
champagne
I don't
one.
know.
The one-
It was whatever it was. It was the last one that she bought, and we passed it around.
yeah.
It was just dreadful. It
I
was
can see it, Tony, actually, because I had a peppermint note to mine. It just made me want to retch. It was
Yeah,
disgusting.
Yeah.
It was like pure medicine. One of them.
I have to run away for a second, but when I continue to talk amongst yourself, and I'll be back, and then when we get back, we can talk about what happened after eulogy, which there's a lot of pictures of
Even
that
more,
too.
exactly.
Even more, because we went from being in prison to having fireworks and more. But I'll be right back.
Myrna, actually, why don't you tell us, while Tony's away, why don't you tell us your ghost adventure in the eulogy bar?
Oh, when I went in, well, remember you people went ahead, and I went to the bathroom. And when I went upstairs, I sat down, I put my hand like at the table, and all of a sudden, I just feel something, and I'm like dying. I start gagging. I'm like, I could not talk. Tony on the other side, AJ kept saying, well, maybe it's, I was like, I smell fumes. I smell something. It's just horrible. And AJ goes, maybe it's the candle. I said, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know. But then he turned off the candle. Then Tony was trying to talk to me, and I couldn't talk to him. I was like, it was just like gagging. It was just horrible. I was like, whatever it is, just go away, go away, go away. And then finally I was able to calm down, and it went away. So I was like, you know what? When I got home, I was like, that was a ghost. Because I felt that before when I've gone to like a very creepy place. I have felt that. Like, you want to gag, you want to throw up, and you can't talk. And that's what I felt there. So I was like, this is definitely, something there. And AJ was like looking at me like, I don't know how you didn't notice. Did you people notice that? I was like, I was like this. I was dying.
Well, there was 14 other people there, including Kelly. So
poor AJ. AJ's like, it could be the candle. Like, I don't know. And he's like, I think he turned it off. We figured it was a candle. I don't know how the candle could have done that, but.
So Mike, do you want to tell everybody about the final note to Kelly Toole, what we did with him?
Yeah, well, Kelly, of course, was there with us. And for the record, that is a picture that Kelly chose.
Oh.
He did know what I was going to do and gave me 2 options. So that was one of the pictures he had chosen. And so inside the table, the coffin tables, or under the glass on top of the table, were various things. What would you say was in there, Dylan? Like, it looked
There
like
were all kinds of things. There was a beer bottle, newspapers, magazines.
there was a shirt or something at one point.
Yeah.
Notes. There were notes.
Yeah,
and I had a skull. There was a skull in my side.
Okay. Well, now in the side that Dylan and I were sitting in is Kelly's face.
Face up so that when someone is eating their dinner at the table, right where we were,
He's forever
Kelly Toole
famous.
right up at him.
Kelly's beautiful eyes will be staring back at them when they go there to plate.
And Kelly looks like he's fading a little bit, He's smirking too, a little smirk. We should have put a SnarkStock shark in there too.
Just the background on one other thing, because it did make it out to Twitter. The rapey story. People that are not in the Hangout don't know what the background to that was. And the background is when we were having one of our planning discussions, I was like, well, it's right near Fairmount Park. maybe we can, like have a picnic or something before we go to Eastern State. And
As
Nicole
people often
said,
do.
as people often do, and Nicole said what?
It's a little rapey there.
And she followed that up by saying, if we're going to go to Fairmount Park, we should plug all our holes and plug them good. So,
I mean,
it is funny. And I told that story in eulogy, and
Oh, that was too funny.
and when I was telling it, I didn't know, but the waitress came in, and I didn't see the expression on her face. But apparently, I think she was looking right at Nicole. But it was pretty funny. So that's the origin of rapey, and anything that got tweeted out, Laura Norman immediately posted that on Twitter.
For the record, plug your holes and plug them good would make a great autobiography title.
Either that or a great T-shirt. Is there anything else that? Just to wrap up eulogy. Before we left, the Kelly head. So I was telling you before about the glass tabletops. Okay, did you mention that already?
Yeah, we just went over that. Sorry.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we don't have to go over that. So he's forever enshrined or entombed inside the eulogy
He's
bar
famous.
in that table.
And I don't
there's-
think anybody could take that out, right? Because you can't lift that.
um,
It's screwed.
sure
The glass was screwed in my side, at least.
It's screwed, but they have screwdrivers, so they can probably.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, if they
a
were,
screw-
but I doubt it. There's so much stuff in there.
Screws work both ways.
What?
So we left there, and right down the block we heard some noises, and it turned out that they were shooting off some fireworks. So we were treated to a little bit of a fireworks show. So
Well,
from
wait,
prison,
You're lucky.
just to jump in, I think you're missing something. We were all invited to stay at Dylan's
Oh, yeah.
in November.
Oh, no,
well,
we'll get into that in a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
And then after the fireworks, we decided to go across the street, and there was a park that had some statues in it, and there are many, many pictures of Mandy and Dawn and Myrna climbing these statues and making some. And Dylan is covering his face. Why?
I don't know. That was just. Yeah, it was fun, I guess, but still, it's a public park, and people were still walking up there, and I just see these people just up there. Like, it's fun. I know it's fun. It just, I don't know, just kind of weird.
To tell you the truth, I mean, when we got there, I was like, we shouldn't be defiling these statues
Immigrants.
and like there was a statue for Scottish immigrants, and the one big one was for Irish immigrants. But I was like, you want to know? Screw it. It was.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
fun. Yeah.
And
That's
my
what we
people.
think of other cultures.
That's like my people, though. So like, I felt like it's okay with me. You guys.
It's okay with them.
Like, I'm your friend. You know a Scotch Irish person, so you guys can do it. You know what I'm saying.
Well, I'm half Irish, so I felt
See?
pretty
And
much
I'm
okay
half
with.
Scottish, so it's all right too.
See? That works the same way that other people use it, if you know what I mean.
Well, and we didn't do
Wink.
anything.
Wink.
Yeah.
No, you didn't do
Well,
anything bad.
we didn't do anything to make fun or make
No.
light of the things. It's just that it was fun, and I'm gonna say that there was some alcohol involved in some of it, but I mean, as far as I was concerned, I mean, I don't think I was drunk when I got up there. It was just, hey, let's take some pictures up here in the statue. It's here, and it was fun. And none of us got hurt, thank goodness. Going up and down on those statues.
I mean, are statues made not to be touched? Because I mean, like, I never made a statue, so I don't know.
I mean, there weren't, usually they would have signs, I suppose.
Yeah, they would.
To get on them would say, please do not climb on the statues. And
Yeah.
I'm sure we weren't the first person in the history of Philadelphia.
I don't
to do
think they
that,
mind.
So.
But I mean, it's one thing to go there, and it's another thing to go to like the Acropolis in Greece and like lean up against one of those marble statues and have the arm come off. You know, now you're talking about an antiquity, and I think that Irish statue at least wasn't.
Then we'll get arrested if you did that.
Yeah, well, because you're dealing with a national treasure, and I don't know if these statues have been long enough to have reached that status.
I think they're sturdy enough, and they can.
Yeah. They probably put there for money. They raised money. It's like, we need to have something that shows off our Irish and Scottish pride, whatever. Let's build some statues, and they made some. It was just simple stuff.
Yeah, I was hoping for a cemetery. So.
Yeah, it's not like we dropped our pants and we're mooning, the statue or anything like that. Or we put another crack in the Liberty Bell. We didn't do anything like that.
For the record, I wasn't there for that. Police.
No. Just in case. But it's in the report. You know what's nice? Well, Sesame's Fireworks picture. That was gorgeous. That she put all of our names on it.
Yes, it was.
Beautiful.
She did a great job.
Wow, that was beautiful. She had a great shot.
Yeah, I'm thinking I gotta take those pictures down.
Down?
Yeah, they're public pictures, so maybe we can. I don't know. I don't think because it did.
Just put them private. I hate public.
There was no signs that said, no trespassing, no climbing the statues or anything.
No.
I'm gonna say it probably wasn't the most mature thing I've ever done in my life, but it was fun.
Was it fun?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we were having fun. We were hanging out. I mean, we were just doing stuff, crazy stuff all day. So, it's fine.
Hey, it was
I don't
nice
think there's anything wrong with it.
It was nice to feel like I was
a fountain,
39 again.
I would have been in there.
You would have been dancing in there, right?
If it was a fountain, I would have been in it. So
that might have been cool.
I just wish we would have seen like more, stuff in Philly.
Well, everybody knows Myrna wanted to go into the kink store, but we never got in it.
Oh my God, that was so funny. When Dylan sees that store, I was like, "Is that a?" And then it's like, "Yes, Myrna." That's what it was. Is that a penis?
Did we ever get to Myrna's ghost story from Eulogy?
Yeah, I said.
Yeah, we covered that also when you were away. Yeah.
All right, so that's good.
And then let's see, and then that was it, right? I mean, after the statues, it was 10ish, 11ish, something like that, and
yeah, and then we
it was about 11. So.
We all walked.
Well, it was actually a little bit before, but yeah.
It was just funny. We walked Jerry and AJ and Gio back to their car.
Yeah, that was funny. We had to protect them.
Because I think it was because we didn't want it to end. I mean, we were having such a great
time. I know. And we didn't really have so much chance to sit and actually be around, like each of us looking at each other.
Yeah. Well, that's why the karaoke bar probably would have worked just as well, because we would have had a quote-unquote private room. And we wouldn't have to be sitting there singing the whole time. But I mean, it worked out well.
You would have been entertained by a killer version of "Circle of Life" by Elton John. I would have done that one. Did mine.
All right, just as long as you don't do.
But I mean, you figure
that's fine.
Hey, Mike, what did your dad say about
version.
the Snark Addicts? What did he think?
Yeah.
What was that?
Mike, what did your dad think of us? What did your dad think of us?
He liked everybody, and he had a really good time.
Aww.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Mike said, his dad doesn't get out much, so.
His standards are pretty low.
Yeah.
He was so nice.
It's actually, he got a little more. He was quiet most of the time because he didn't really know anybody. But then once we got to eulogy, he got a couple of beers inside of him, some Stella in him, Stella Artois in him. He started, chatting a bit more. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah, he was nice. He was, and him and Shirley were chatting, and I chatted too. He was good.
Yeah, and at the
He
end of
looked
the
like he had a
day,
nice time.
we had to make one of the many, and we haven't spoken really too much about them, the Myrna bathroom stops. And we ended up going into that same supermarket.
Oh God, yes, that was hysterical. You give Mandy a freaking crate.
We walked in, and they, when you walk into a supermarket, they have, shopping carts or the baskets, and I just picked up a basket, and I kept on trying to give it to someone, and Mandy finally took it from me. Like, Dawn didn't want to take it, Dylan didn't want to take it. And
And
that's
she
where
went to
Mandy,
the bathroom with it. She went
yeah,
to the
she took it
bathroom
into
with
the bathroom.
I'm like, what are you doing with that
and
thing in the
that's
bathroom?
That's where she got the name Pink-Haired Floozy. And it's not because she did anything, but everybody's like, oh, you got to take a picture with Tony with that basket because you made her carry the basket. And it was just like, I was like, here, she finally she walked through the whole store, and,
She's
I
so
forget
funny. She did not let it go either.
yeah, until we got out, then we put it back. But it was
Finally.
like, yeah, my wife is going to see these pictures, and she's going to say, who is the pink-haired and, like, Mike DH Gamer, Mike
yeah.
Richards, was like, floozy. Yeah, I was like, yeah, floozy. That's the word I was going to say, but I'm glad he said it. So that's where the pink-haired
She got her
floozy came
name.
from. And then I guess she changed her name in the car
Yeah.
because all of a sudden, and she put the picture where we were doing the Titanic.
Titanic.
And
Yes.
it was funny. Like, Dawn yells out, do the Titanic, okay? And for some reason, we did the Titanic, which meant that I put out one arm, she put out the other one arm, and we both yelled out, we're on top of the world, we're king of the world, whatever. I was like, how stupid is that someone said, do the Titanic, and we both did the same.
And you knew exactly.
Yeah, I was actually
Everybody knew
amazed
it.
because I was driving Mandy back because she lives down this way, and I thought because she was down in it and stuff like that. I thought she was going to be passed out asleep in the van, and she
It
wasn't.
didn't affect her.
Yeah, she was very talkative the whole rest of the way home. Of course, we got screwed going down 95 around midnight, and just before the Susquehanna River Bridge, there's a sign that says 2 right lanes closed.
Oh boy.
And then, granted, it's 12 o'clock, but there's still cars on the road, so it took us about 40 minutes to go 10 miles. It sucked.
Yeah, that's one thing. If we do the other one, we have to stay. I was dead driving. I was literally driving my eyes half open. I was so tired. I got home at 3-something in the morning. I was like, oh my God, do I still have to keep going?
Well, good
I wanted
news
to
for you.
stop somewhere and just go to sleep.
Good news for you, Myrna. Because of all the stuff
What?
we were chatting about before the outside eulogy bar, I only got about 4.5 hours sleep between Saturday and Sunday, and the reason why is because my mind was just running with ideas, and I actually have a 2-page proposal for a SnarkStock 2016 possibly, but and it would be a Saturday, Sunday thing, and we'd all, as Mike pointed out, we would all be spending the night at our house. But we can go over that some other time, or if we want to do it now, it's fine. I can give you the basic rundown of it.
Yeah, you can
It's
go.
up to you.
Yeah,
Your basic, give us the basic because
give us a basic,
10:30,
yeah.
I turn into a pumpkin again.
Yeah, we'll just do the basic. And I said we'll finalize it as well. I'm not so sure about November, even though that's what but Mandy wants. But we'll work it out. We'll talk with Mandy. And,
Nicole says no.
Yeah.
but
I have 2 races.
yeah, my thinking was more along the lines of doing it again in the same time frame, like the early June next year, and have it here in Baltimore. Now, I'm not doing that just because it's closer for me and Dawn and Mandy, but the location I have planned for us is it would be Baltimore City, but we would all meet up in a place called Hunt Valley, and Hunt Valley is at the very end of the light rail. And the light rail is our train that goes from BWI, which is our airport, all the way up to Hunt Valley. and it also has a stop over at our train station that goes up to Hunt Valley also. So if people, Snark Alex, want to fly in, take the train in, you can just hop on the light rail and meet us up at Hunt Valley. And then we can all get back on the train again, and it takes you right back to Baltimore. And so that was one of the things that as I said, it's just a work in progress. The one things that I want, my main issue was, yeah, it's fun driving, but sometimes it gets kind of stressful when you're trying to follow somebody. Like, we didn't know where AJ was. I didn't know where AJ was on the way to Eulogy Bar. I was afraid we might have lost him. I didn't know if he knew the area that well. Yeah, you have GPS now, but you never know. And I didn't want to lose him. And this way, it would be, we would figure out, as I said, we would go through what we still have to talk about. It's just a proposal, but we could take the light rail down to Baltimore City, and then we can just walk across. There's all kinds of stuff in Baltimore City. There's the Gem Museum, which I think you guys would like. There's the Visionary Arts Museum. There's Federal Hill. There's Harbor Place. There's Hard Rock Cafe. There's other nice places to go to. Then we can also take a ferry over to Fort McHenry if we wanted to, or we could take a ferry to Fells Point, which is another whole area filled with bars and restaurants. There is a haunted Fells Point ghost walk as well, Tony. You were mentioning something about haunted stuff. There is a ghost walk over there. If we did do this, Edgar Allan Poe's birthplace might be a little bit of a hike for us to just walk. It's doable, but it's a bit of a hike, and I don't know if we really want to do that. But there is so much to do downtown, food-wise, drink-wise, activity-wise, and then in the end, then we could just come back on the light rail or whatever to get caught up to Hunt Valley, and then some of us
puke on Dylan's carpet.
Here's the thing: we can carpool up to our house, which is only about 20 minutes away from Hunt Valley, and we have a disgustingly dirty basement down here, and dirty living room and dirty dining room, the kids' rooms, because the kids probably wouldn't be there, but hey, anybody's welcome to.
We could all bring sleeping bags.
Exactly, and also if you don't want to do that, we do have hotels in the area, the one or two pretty nice ones that are in the area. And then what my thought was after that is then in the morning, whoever wanted to hang out again, there's a couple of nice places for brunch. There's a Dunkin' Donuts or a Wawa we could go to. And then to top off SnarkStock 2016, because we didn't get to do it this year, there's literally a miniature golf course just about 5 minutes from our house.
Mike just checked out. Mike just checked out.
Mike is By the way, Mike.
As I said, Mike, if you wanted to, there's a miniature golf course just 5 minutes away that we could play around or whatever, and then
I'm just excited for the slumber party.
And on top
I know, that sounds like fun.
And one more thing also is if you're driving, Hunt Valley is easy to get to. You take 95, 695 to 83, and it'll take you, take an exit for Schwann Road, it'll take you right to where we're going to meet. And the place where we're meeting at is a shopping area. There's restaurants there, there's stores, there's a movie theater, and we could always, if we went to before we went downtown, we could always go to the Green Turtle, get something to eat if we wanted to, and drink there. There's stores, there's a Wegmans if you want to, get treats or snacks or whatever right there also.
What do you think our proposed budget will be for that?
That's the thing is, this is just a proposal right now. What I have to do is I have to do research on, but the way to look at it is, if we decide to go with the light rail for travel purposes, it's only about $3 for the whole day.
Oh, that's not that bad.
And the only problem is I got to find hours and stuff like that, because it would be on a Saturday, and it depending on, Saturday it doesn't run quite as normally, but it still runs though, and it'll take you right to Baltimore, and it'll take you right to BWI, it'll take you right to the train station, and it'll take you right to Hunt Valley, which is where I'm thinking to meet. But as I said, that's just a proposal I have. I have a bunch of other ideas, but that's the gist of it. We can work out the logistics on that later.
Now, just as something to check out and to work into your proposal, is there somewhere along the line where I could elect a pope?
I'm sure. You know what? Fells Point's pretty whacked out crazy. I'm sure if you just stand on a corner or something like that and do your white smoke, black smoke thing, there you go.
Congregate, and have the Congress of Cardinals at any common street corner.
Yeah, exactly. Just sit on the corner and just start preaching.
Yeah. My only issue with and I said it when we were talking about this, in the parking lot before we left. was that because what Mandy wants to do in November, which is, at the time, that's a sketchy time frame anyway. It sounded like she wanted to do a bar crawl type thing. And if it was going to turn into something like that, there is no way anybody should be driving.
No.
Because if you have to drive, then you cannot drink. And not that you need to drink to have a good time, but if
It helps.
if you're going to sit there and everybody else is
I
going
know,
to
that's
get
not fair.
semi-loaded, then that makes you the babysitter of the drunky bunch.
Well,
which
here's
is-
also the other thing I had.
And then you
also,
pay
as
the bill for everybody else.
as I said, also, I mean, I'm not liking the idea of November. That's just me. But we can, another idea. The light rail was just a suggestion. I also say there's a way once again, look up pricing stuff like that. Rent a giant limo or rent a party bus, small party bus, whatever. That way we wouldn't have to worry about anything. They could take us to and fro wherever we need to go, and then so we could then meet maybe at our house, and then they would pick us up at our house, and then they would drive us here, and then they'd bring us all back to our house, go to sleep overnight, and then drive back on. Yes, Nicole.
I would just also like to mention that I like having activities that we do more so, like maybe like instead of like beer crawl, like, like haunted night thing, because as
Me
much
too.
as I love you all, getting a bunch of people that we don't know drunk together, because we don't really know each other that well, I just foresee some little bad things could happen.
Oh no, I
So-
agree. I agree, Nicole. That was the bar crawl was Mandy's idea. My proposal there's the Gem Museum, which is a pop
Right.
culture museum that has all kinds of cool stuff in it. There's the American Visionary Museum, which is all your crazy artwork stuff, like people throwing poop on the wall and calling it art.
Okay, I don't want to see that shit.
Well, it was just an
You don't wanna see
example,
that shit.
Tony. It's just an example. It
Tony.
probably doesn't happen there.
Come on, it was a quick joke, Dylan. It was a quick joke. I don't want to see that shit. Come on.
Let's say boo.
Crystal,
Boo.
We've got Dawn and I are members of the Science Center. Science Center is always interesting. We've got the
That'd be
aquarium,
fun,
we've got
yeah.
Barnes and Noble. We've got
Okay, so can I make a proposal on your proposal?
sure.
Sometime before the next snooze, which we'll do next week, Dylan, we'll put out a poll and see how many people think that they would most likely, most definitely attend. And because the first SnarkStock, if you count the number of people there was 8 people. Okay?
Right.
Every one of those 8 people attended the second one except
for Lee.
Jerry's. Who?
Lee.
Lee and
Lee
Jerry's
didn't come.
husband. Lee and Jerry's husband. Okay,
Lee-
because Myrna keeps on talking
Right.
over me. Lee and Jerry's husband. Okay? So we had 8 people last time. We had 16 people this time, so we doubled the number of people that came. And again, almost everybody that was at the first one, except for Lee and Jerry's husband, were at the second one. Okay, we got Jay. He wasn't at the first one. Okay, Mike's dad, Sesame Squirrel, who wasn't even a Stark Alec back then. So we doubled the number. So if we could do that again and get it up to 32 people, giving people a year's notice to plan for it and say, hey, Baltimore sounds like an easy place to get to,
And
especially the way Dylan's proposing it.
Yeah, because you can fly into BWI and literally jump on the light rail and fly up. It might take about an hour, maybe, depending on, because it stops at every single frickin' stop. But it's safe. You get on there. It's patrolled. There's a friend of mine, Gary, who is a light rail guy. He said he wouldn't mind, hanging out or whatever, being a guide if you need to be, whatever. He's a trustworthy guy. I'm not saying I was going to do that, but you do that, and then as you take the train in, there's a stop at Penn Station. You just hop on the light rail too. It ends right at Hunt Valley, as I said, which is about 20 minutes from our house. So that way it would, and then as I said, if you're driving, it's right on all the highways, 95, 695, 83. It's off of 83, which is connected to 695, which is connected to 95 if you go that way. So it's fairly easy.
It sounds
So that's like
it,
a city?
it's
What?
Baltimore's
That's-
like a city. It's like Philadelphia is like a city too. They have those big buildings and It's like lots of people live there. They have stadiums and stuff.
And we would stay within the touristy areas and not the horrible, dangerous.
I wanted to go to CVS. That's why I wanted Baltimore.
CVS. CVS.
You don't know the riots, dude. Never mind. Okay. The riots we had a couple weeks ago, they destroyed CVS, or a bunch of them. So.
Well, let's hope there's no rioting when we go.
Yeah, exactly. But as I said, a year.
They only have them in April and March and April. Yeah. They schedule them every year.
Yeah, not in June.
Seasonal.
Yeah. June would be good.
But that's because there's always a shortage of allergy medication, which is what sets it all off.
Seasonal effective rioting.
Yeah.
But that's my proposal. I was suggesting possibly do it in early June-ish, like we did this one. If we do it any later in the summer, it's going to be oppressively hot, and we might be able to push May, but May can be unpredictable.
Yeah. It's May's hard. The only one request that there was out there was to do it like first week in July, which gets us into the 4th of July. And with Fort McHenry over there, I don't know if they do special stuff for the 4th of July. And next year, isn't it going to be like the 250-year anniversary of this country? So now, I mean, like, think about it. It's 250 years, so there may be some special increase in the 4th of July stuff. But that was Amy. Asking for that, but I am guessing that if we were to start planning this, like, let's say in August, okay, that should give people more than enough time to
say yes.
To say yes and plan and save up a couple of dollars here and there to do it.
To book trains or planes or automobiles, you know.
Well, yeah. I mean, I might even actually look in to see, Amtrak, if that would be a possibility. Oh, look, it's that pink-haired floozy. She's back.
I'm back.
Okay.
Well, sorry, we're almost getting ready to end.
Yeah, she's back.
Well, good night.
Yeah, good night. Did you have anything you wanted to add before?
Did I say Baltimore?
You did, but I think it kind of got shot down for November. But it looks like it might be a go for next June, though.
All right.
Only because November's just a bad month.
Well,
of November.
Mandy, I'll be in touch with you. I actually have a proposal that I want to work with you with and get your input on, and it would be Baltimore and would be around the same time we did this Snark Stock, so in June next year, just to give other people a chance to get their way up here, because we want to try to double who we had at this one to make it. We want to have at least 32 at the next one, which could include our friend Holly. Get her up here. So,
damn straight.
So as I said, I'll be in touch with you. We'll do a little brainstorming. Okie dokie.
Can we hang out in November?
We can probably figure out something to do in November. Sure, something small. Sure, I think we can do that. Absolutely. Okie dokie. Anything else anybody has to offer?
No.
Tony?
Nope. Just regularly scheduled nonsense next week, just to make up for what we didn't get to this week, which we knew we weren't going to get to anyway.
So another snooze next week then. Woohoo!
Yes.
And,
I like snoozing.
And because I got to push myself, my show is going to be on Saturday night. Prime time, 9 p.m. Jerry and I will be doing the top 10 pop culture dads, since it's Father's Day month. So, Saturday night, 9 p.m. Got nothing to do. Hang out with us. Should be a good one.
I know who shouldn't be on that list. And I'm not going to say who.
What is it called? I wish I could see. I got a funeral that day.
I feel like I'm missing an inside joke.
No. I was thinking of, top 10 dads. There's one dad that used to be one of the top 10 Huck's dads. But, he should not be.
Pink sweaters.
I like that list show.
Oh, Mr. Rogers? Shit, man. I didn't even know he had kids.
Mr. Rogers wasn't a dad.
I got you. I got you, Tony.
Robert Reed. Okay, let me stop.
Say goodnight, Tony.
Good night, Tony.
Good night, Tony.
Not to
Good night,
yourself, Tony.
everyone.
Good night,
Good night, everyone. Thank you for joining me.
Good.
Thanks, Mike, Dylan, Myrna,
Good night.
Nikki, Mandy, and we'll see you
Nice.
guys next week.